It's a tough time to be a Sri Lankan cricket fan. Everybody is looking for answers. What's going wrong? When are things going to come right? Well, here on Around the Wickets, if you are watching this show, you're looking for answers. And we, here on ThePapare.com, try our best to give you the answers as much as possible. But then there are some things that we will never know. To try and get you those answers, of course, as with every week, we have with us Farveez Maharoof, who joins us week in, week out. We'll try to look at things subjectively on a microscopic level. Let's start with that second test loss to Australia in Canberra. Farveez, you don't have to go through the scores. Everybody knows what's happened. I'll make an excuse for the bowlers because it was a very least experienced bowling attack. But on a pitch like that, getting all out for 215 and 148 from batsmen who are talented is unacceptable. You must have watched the wickets falling.
Yeah, absolutely. I think some of the strokes being played was, it's just giving away the wicket. So it's a disappointment. The most disappointing part is we are repeating the mistake and not learning from it. But overall, credit should go to the Australians. They were ruthless coming back from a series loss to India. The way they fought back and showed how they want to play going into the Ashes, especially looking at Tim Payne's interview after the game. So all in all, about the bowlers, I thought just 5 test matches among the 3 quicks was definitely inexperience, and they didn't know the proper lengths to be bowled once the ball started swinging. When the ball was swinging, we pitched it up, we swung, and we picked up 3 wickets. Ever since then, we were very inconsistent with the lengths. More than the lines, the lengths. In Australia, the length matters most. So I think bowling part, we could give that leverage to the bowlers, but batting wise, it's a complete disappointment yet again, mainly because we keep repeating the same mistake over and over again.
Speaking of miserable batting performance, 4 centuries from Australia and only 1 half century from Sri Lanka. That speaks for itself, doesn't it? And to add to that, fielding wasn't up to standard once again. 4 drop catches in that first innings. You can't take a team like that to a foreign country like Australia and expect to win matches. On a pitch like that, the least we could have done was bat out the next 3 days and at least draw. But like you said, credit to Australia, they did bat really well. But I think it's more down to the lack of preparation, perhaps, or planning against their batsmen. Guys like Khawaja, Travis Head, kept making runs against us. So do you think it's that?
I thought planning would have done, definitely. That's the job of the coaching staff. I think pretty much every tour, before every game, the team meetings, that's what you all do as a team management, and a team meeting goes on. But talking about the drop catchers, I thought some of them should not be dropped in international standards. So unfortunately, when things goes wrong, everything goes wrong. So only 1 half century in 4 innings, that itself shows how badly we batted. And overall, that momentum shifted to our bowling as well as our fielding, which is really disappointing. Looking from the television at home, I don't feel, I'm pretty sure that our viewers will agree with me that do we look like winning a game? At least in the first innings, it doesn't look like the way we are playing. So something has to turn around. So that's why, you will come up with the squad for the next tour. So that's why the selectors have gone and taken that hard call, tough call for so many players who have been dropped and taken off from the squad.
But see, that's the difficult thing to come to terms with, Farveez, for me. These are guys, you look at the squad that went to Australia, guys like Dinesh Chandimal, Roshan Silva, Dikwalla, Dimut Karnara. Not like they haven't scored runs, they've been among the runs. They tried something different in that second innings, promoted Dikwalla up in the order. What did you make of that? Maybe a decision taken rashly, in the moment, out of panic, because he was the only one who looked like he could make some runs. Perhaps a bad move to do that?
That shows how desperate we are. Club cricket, we do it in Sri Lanka. Whoever bats at even number 8, who scores runs, we'll straight away put him at number 4.
Right.
But at test level, you give certain players certain positions and tell them, right, we are going to give you this much, just make use of it. But suddenly, Dikwalla moving at number 4, maybe because Kusal Janithpera's injury, because he got injured. So that's what I can think of. But usually we don't change it unless it's needed a tactical change. But in this case, I think Kusal Janith's injury, the blow to the head, would have prompted the management and the captain to think to promote Dikkal, who's been batting well in his own style of play, which is unique, to bat at number 4, which was too much to ask, because I think Dikkal is very well suited for number 7. The way he plays, he bats with the tail, he bats with the second new ball, and his game is ideal. And he's only one player for me backed himself and gave it to the Australians. I mean, if you
Yes.
look at the little spat we had with the Kavaja, I mean, this is what you have to see. I mean, you give it to them.
Yes.
And I mean, you will go wrong.
Yes.
But end of the day, that's the commitment, that's a passion should be there. And I just saw it with Dikwel. Apart from him, I don't think anyone was up to the mark when it comes to being in the game. I mean, you could fail. Still, you give it a try by trying to distract a batsman. I didn't see it from anyone else though.
Right. I mean, that's one way of saying that, we want to compete. We are not here to just get pushed over. We want to compete and try and make a match out of things. Well, I guess that's that. Then, I mean, a loss is a loss. There's nothing you can do about it. But as Farveez said, there has been a response. A lot of focus has been put on the domestic circuit. A lot of runs have been scored this season from the batsmen playing for the clubs in the domestic circuit. I'm sure all of you viewers are keeping an eye on what's going on. The new squad has been announced, and not surprisingly, there have been a few changes. A lot of batsmen who have scored heavily in the domestic circuit have come into the squad. We'll just try to go through the squad if we can. Kaushal Silva comes back in after a domestic heavy run fest in the domestic circuit. Oshada Fernando, highest run scorer once again. Angelo Pereira, he made headlines last week for scoring those 2 double centuries in a match. Milinda Siriwardene is back in the squad. Mohammad Shiraz, opening right arm bowler, and then Lasith Ambuldania, the spinner, is in. Dinesh Chandimal, the captain, has been rested. He has been told to take some time off from cricket, go play some domestic cricket, get some form back, and then come back into the team. Sadira Samaravikrama, now that's a question I want to ask Farveez, but then Roshan Silva got dropped, so did Dilruwan Pereira. Farveez, I'm looking at this squad, and there were a few guys here who weren't up to the mark in Australia. I'm looking at Dhananjay De Silva. Now, I know Asantha Dimel spoke and said that, listen, we want to have him there because he can bowl a few overs. But would you have liked to see another batsman replace him, and then also comment on the new batsman coming in? What do you make of the squad here?
I think, as I said, it's some tough calls, which has to be made. Something has to give in. And unfortunately, we are in a situation where we had to make it because of the desperation, because the Trident Test and batsmen.
A lot of pressure from the public as well. They're looking forward to change.
I don't think the selectors would have thought about public pressure. They do. I mean, their job is to pick the right 15 who's going to compete in South Africa. So if I put my selectors at here, I would definitely agree with the few of the changes happened here.
Right.
Especially with Chandimal been struggling. I mean, it's good for him to go back to domestic cricket, get his confidence back, and as you said, rewarding the this domestic, the highest wicket taker and highest run scorers. Wicket taker is Mohammad Siraj when it comes to fast bowlers. So he's been deservedly given a go. Even Lasith Ambuldania last 3 years have been playing really well. Number 1 spin in the team, and the batsmen, Angelo Pereira and all these other guys have been scoring a lot of runs. And it's end of the day, it's runs. Batsmen have to make runs. From the inside edge or the outside edge or middle of the bat, runs is runs. So exactly what they have proven. I mean, the guys who are going out, Dinesh, Chandi, Roshan and Dilruwan, they had to go back to domestic, regain their form and make a statement again. I don't think any of these guys will be out of reckoning. They will be definitely, because we need experience going forward. But whether we did the right thing at the right this time, I would say definitely yes. We needed some changes.
Right, and one quick word on Sadira Samaravikrama. He was taken to New Zealand, he was taken to Australia. I think he went out just once to bat in that T20 against New Zealand, got out, I think, the second ball or the first ball, was it? Unfair to have dropped him without giving him much opportunity. He must have batted a lot in those nets there, unless the selectors or the coaches over there saw that, listen, he was also struggling in the nets against the bounce. That could be the only possible explanation.
Even I will think the same. There's no other reason you should drop a batsman just not playing and just giving one game in a 2020 and straight away dropping him from the squad, which is very unfair. Unless, as you said, the batsman Sadira kept failing in the nets as well, would have prompted the selectors and the coach and the captain to go for another option. So that's the only reason I can think of, but very, very unlucky. I mean, I hope he won't get disheartened by this decision. He should take it on the chin, come back, play some domestic cricket and get some runs and prove his quality.
There you go then. Well then, a lot of cricket coming up. 13th of February is when the series kicks off. 2 tests, 5 ODIs and 3 2020s all in South Africa against a very good South African team that is in good form. Remember, they're playing Pakistan and they've won quite convincingly in the few matches that they've played against them. On the subject of South Africa, our women's team is there already. They've played a couple of T20s now. Lost one quite badly. South Africa won that by 7 wickets. But the second one was a very close game. Still, South Africa women's won that by 2 wickets with just 1 ball remaining. Shashikala Siriwardena very famous name amongst the women's cricket. She became the second Sri Lankan to reach 1,000 runs in women's T20Is during the second match. This time Sri Lanka have sent a very youthful 15-member squad, eyeing the next T20 World Cup in 2020 and the Women's World Cup in 2021. There's one more fixture remaining, another T20 that will be played on the 6th of February. And after that, obviously, Sri Lanka is warming up to that ICC Women's Championship ODI series, which will also be played against South Africa. There'll be one warm-up match and 3 ODIs when it comes to women's T20. Coming back to Sri Lanka, a lot of cricket is being played from schools to domestic structures. The Premier League tournament, that's where all these boys have scored runs. Guys like Oshantha Fernando, Angelo Pereira, Kaushal Silva. This is the tournament that they make runs, they impress the selectors, and that's how they've been rewarded by being in that squad. Farveez, you've been involved in this domestic league for a long time for your club NCC. Not that they're doing too well now in the Super 8. CCC is sitting comfortably on top. I think we have one more round of matches going. What do you make of the way this tournament has panned out? There have been a lot of draws, I know that. A lot of heavy runs scored. But still, it's heartening to see that these teams are battling it out there and that there are a lot of new cricketers being recognized.
Absolutely. I mean, good to see at least 4 teams are vying for the championship. That's what you like to see in domestic cricket, the competitiveness, the toughness, everything. So I think this week, I think CCC is playing NCC, SSC is playing Chilao. So those 2 games, and Tamil Union playing Saracens. So those 3 games are the much looked forward to. A lot of runs being scored, as you said, more than 1,000, probably 1,200.
Is there a particular reason for that? Only this season, so much.
Things have been here. I've been following a few of the matches with my commitments these days. I think what I've been hearing is that the wickets are very true and very flat, and the ball what they're using isn't happening that much. Especially with the new ball, it doesn't swing much, and once it gets older, usually when we used to play the last few years, we attempt to get use of the reverse swing going on. But this year, for some reason, the ball is not reverse swinging as well.
But that's not a good thing, is it?
It's not a good thing. For some reason, I don't know which point to put my finger to. But for some reason, this is the first time I think 15 double hundreds.
Exactly. Yes.
Something that's like it's like massive. Yes. I can imagine about 5-6 double hundreds, but 15 double hundreds. There is something, I won't say wrong. Good that batsman scoring runs, but I feel for the bowlers, especially the fast bowlers. Highest wicket taker Mohammad Siraj is about 22 wickets out of 7 games, something like that, which shows for the bowlers there has been very little offering in the wicket as well as the ball. So, I'm pretty sure even this week with the hot weather going on, there will be a lot of runs, and most important would be the top 4 in the group, CCC, SSC, Tamil Union and Saracens, all 4 have a chance to win this.
Okay, so tough tussle up there in that Super 8 tier A of the Premier League tournament. It's always been a cruel game for fast bowlers, hasn't it been? You can tell if you're a fast bowler that it's always been batsman.
I always say fast bowlers, the match fee should be double. Either they play for Sri Lanka or club cricket, it should be double because of the amount of workload, especially playing in Sri Lanka in this heat. Yes. It's hard work, and especially this year, the bowlers would have found out, there are so many scores, like SSA, NCC last week. I think in 4 days there was more than 1,400 runs scored, which was like massive. So I feel for the fast bowlers especially.
There you go. Farveez Maharoof there, bringing you some awesome insight and expertise on what's going on. Okay, before we go, as always, we're going to pick your brains. This week's question is, how many captains have led Sri Lanka in tests so far? Remember, there have been quite a bit of chopping around going on in the last couple of years. Our question for the week is, how many captains have led Sri Lanka in tests so far to date? Last week we asked you, in which ground did Sri Lanka first beat Australia in a test match? The answer is Asgiria Stadium in Kandy, historic place. Sri Lanka beat Australia for the first time in a test in 1999. Well, that's 20 years ago, under the leadership of the master blaster Sanath Jayasuriya. Last week's winner, Pubudu Milan from Kadutara. Congratulations, and thank you very much to all of you for watching this show again. And if you have any comments, please do go ahead and make those comments on the Facebook post. Until we see you again next week, talking to you about that South African match. It's bye-bye from all of us here at ThePapare.com.